Markets whiplash as courts strike down tariffs before staying the decision pending more deliberation. Well, that was out of left field. Wednesday evening, the U.S. Trade Court ruled that the White House didn't have authority to impose its broad quote unquote reciprocal tariffs. So overnight, global markets and U.S. futures spiked on the development, with markets opening solidly green in the morning. However, Thursday afternoon, an appeals court temporarily paused the decision to allow more time for further review. Markets gave up some gains, but still finished higher for the day. So what does this all mean? Well, typically, Congress is supposed to have the power to impose tariffs. The White House had just been using federal emergency power laws to impose them. On Wednesday, the trade court ruled that the law did not grant the White House unbounded authority to impose the tariffs on essentially everyone. The order would have forced the U.S. to end all tariffs within the next 10 days. However, Thursday midday, the appeals court paused the decision, allowing tariffs to remain in place while the case is reviewed. So essentially, after 24 hours, nothing policy-wise has really changed. However, there's now a new twist to the tariffs drama, with a scenario where the courts ultimately overturn them. So what now? Well, investors are obviously optimistic for the scenario where tariffs are ultimately struck down after the case is run through the courts. But if only that it was that easy. In the meantime, this likely prolongs the uncertainty around tariffs. First, this will need to run through courts, which may take months to resolve. Second, even if resolved in courts, the White House could attempt to reimpose the tariffs through other means. And finally, we'd expect deal negotiations, currently in progress, will likely be delayed. It's not a position of strength to negotiate if the thread is on thin ice with the courts. We'd expect other countries to compromise less while the threat of tariffs are in question. Ultimately, this likely just extends the uncertainty where businesses and consumers remain in limbo. Again, we're focused on the macro data to gauge how the economy will hold up. Resilient consumers and confident businesses will be necessary to avoid a recession.